Right, okay, so are we recording? Are we all set? Right, and here's the script. This is the script. I'm reading off this, am I? Right, okay, let's have a look now. Pulp Fiction, Captain Coons. Is that who I'm playing? Captain Coons. Right, lovely. Okay, right. Okay. Aha! Right. Hello, little man. Boy, I've sure heard a bunch about you. See, I was a good friend of your dad's. We were in that Hanoi pit of hell together for over 5 years. Hopefully you'll never have to experience that for yourself, but when two men are in a situation like me, and your dad were, for as long as we were, you take on certain responsibilities of each other. If it had been me who'd not made it, Major Coolidge would be talking right now to my son, Jim. But the way it turned out, I'm talking to you, Butch, and I've got something for you. This watch I've got here was first purchased by your great-grandfather during the First World War. It was bought in a little general store in Knoxville, Tennessee, made by the first company to ever make wristwatches. Up until then, people just carried around pocket watches. It was bought by Private Doughboy Ernie Coolidge on the day he set sail for Paris. Lovely town. It was your great-grandfather's war watch, and he wore it every day he was in that war. When he'd done his duty, he went home to your great-grandmother, took the watch off, and put it in an old coffee can. And there it stayed in that can until your granddad, Dane Coolidge, was called upon by his country to go overseas and fight the Germans once again. This time they call it World War II. Your great-grandfather gave his watch to your granddad for good luck. Unfortunately, Dane's luck wasn't as good as his old man's. Dane was a Marine, and he was killed, along with the other Marines, at the Battle of Wake Island. Your granddad was facing death, and he knew it. None of those boys had any illusions about ever leaving that island alive, so 3 days before the Japanese took the island, your granddad asked a gunner on an Air Force transport by the name of Wenoke, a man he'd never met before in his life, to deliver to his infant son, who he'd never seen in the flesh, his gold watch. 3 days later, your granddad was dead. But Wenoke kept his word. After the war was over, he paid a visit to your grandmother, delivering to your infant father his dad's gold watch. This watch. This watch was on your daddy's wrist when he was shot down over Hanoi. He was captured, put in a Vietnamese prison camp. He knew if the gooks, pardon the racial slur, if the gooks ever saw the watch, it'd be confiscated and taken away. The way your dad looked at it, that watch was your birthright, and he'd be damned, pardon me French, if any slopes, a racial slur again, sorry, we're going to put their greasy, yellow hand, that's slightly racist, but yellow hands on his boy's birthright. So he hid it in the one place he knew he could hide something, up his, down his trousers. 5 long years he wore this watch up, down his trousers. Then he died of dysentery. And he gave me the watch, and I gave it a rinse, I'd imagine. I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal down my trousers for 2 years. Then, after 7 years, I was sent home to my family. And now, little man, I give this watch to you. Right, how was that? Was that basically, was that how? Okay, any good? Okay, right, well, let me know. Right.